Welcome to the American Roundtable. I'm Al Spry.
And I'm Bill Strickler.
We have a full jam-packed 30-minute program for you. It's politics as unusual, and we like to call it the Straight Talk Zone. Am I right?
This is going to be a fun show, I can tell you that, Al.
Well, it's Halloween season, so we have a little fun for you. We have Dr. Paul Bearer
the resurrected.
He is. He's back from the dead here on today's show.
Only here.
Also, we have talk about Trump and also Hillary, and Julian Assange of WikiLeaks is featured on today's show. But it's jam-packed. It is absolutely jam-packed. You have your rock star glasses on. You are ready to go.
Well, I have these because, they're like Hillary's. I don't want to get a little brain issue going on.
That's right. Well, you've got enough as it is. We don't
That's
want to
right.
tax anymore. This is American Roundtable. So much we don't even know what to do. And we will have more for you in a moment.
Welcome back to the American Roundtable. This is an episode where we're actually going to be talking about issues instead of hearsay, instead of things that don't matter.
So happy to be on Tough TV as well.
Yeah, that's right.
ToughTV.com for more information about this and other fine shows on the Tough TV network. Well, you're a little worked up today.
Well, the last time we were together, we talked about WikiLeaks, and then emails came out, were released by WikiLeaks about Hillary. Then all of a sudden, miraculously, his internet connection was cut. He can't get to the internet anymore.
You're talking about Julian Assange.
That's right.
The guy who's the head of WikiLeaks, who's been releasing
London.
damaging information about the Hillary Clinton campaign. Not really doing much on the Trump campaign, but he really doesn't like Hillary Clinton. You can tell, and I'm guessing the feeling is mutual.
Well, who would cut his line to the internet? I mean, who's got the reason or the motivation to do that?
Well, anyone in the national security field in America, all they have to say is it's a national security issue. They could just blame Russia like they're doing for tampering with U.S. election. I mean, that's the excuse. Whether it's true or not, who am I to say?
Yeah.
But, that's kind of the excuse that they're using. But there's lots of ways to do it, in using cyber hacking techniques.
Right. Neither one of us know Donald Trump or Hillary.
No.
So what we get is from a media that may or may not be slanted. But in the last few weeks, we've heard a lot about Trump did this, he did that, disrespected women. Now, I don't think anybody should disrespect women. And sometimes immature people at the time might say things as trying to boost their ego. But it's like, I want to talk about the real issues, is what I want to talk about. It just seems so clouded right before election time. And one day you have 4 women come out against Trump. I mean, is this all kind of like a planned attack? It just
well,
seems kind of
I
strange.
will say this, though. Donald Trump kind of opened the door to this by having all of Bill Clinton's so-called victims at one of the debates. Remember that? Was it the first debate between him and Hillary? So I think he kind of threw the first pitch into this dirty game. But, before you do that kind of thing, it's really important to make sure that your hands are clean or semi-clean.
Well,
Remember, it is politics.
Right. I would like to see something that's been proven, not just hearsay.
Well, then don't look to this election, because it's all hearsay, brother, in this election. This is what is disturbing to a lot of people. The more they attack Trump and the more they attack Hillary, the more their supporters are going to batten down the hatches. We'll see how this goes. But up next, a little fun for you with Dr. Paul Bearer on the American Roundtable on Tough TV. Welcome back to the American Roundtable. So good to have my guest tonight. It's Dr. Paul Bearer. Dr. Paul Bearer II, to be exact. And Dr. Paul, welcome to the American Roundtable.
Well, thank you very much. I got to tell you, I love your studio. It's laid out pretty well. I don't know how long it's been dead, but you did a real good job laying it out.
Well, thank you. We like to lay things out in a crisp and concise way. And I wanted to first welcome you to the show and ask you about how you got involved in such an interesting profession.
Well, I got to tell you, growing up, I was really into the death of people, and it was really sad to see some of the people go. And part of the business is to make them look really nice for their final viewing, and I kind of have the knack for it, so that's what I do.
I can tell you look beautiful yourself today, and it's really great to have you. What do you like best about what you do?
Well, my customers don't complain, and where else can you go to work and it all be laid out there for you?
This is a good point, and you've wanted to, of course, do this. This is your chosen profession, and what exactly do you do?
Well, I sit around the old Tenement Castle. That's what I call my tomb, and I watch horrible old movies, and I like to share them with the public. So.
And where do you do this? Where can people kind of find you and see you? Because I think you look amazing.
Well,
So-
thank you. I'm on Facebook. You can go to facebook.com/Dr. Paul Bearer 2, or my own website, which is drpaulbearer2.com.
And you're on in Tampa, are you?
And I've done several shows over at CW44, and we've done our 8th episode.
Oh, this is great. This is absolutely great. Of course, we're bringing you out for the Halloween season, which, of course, is one of my wife's favorite holiday, that and Christmas. It's kind of an interesting dichotomy there. But I would imagine Halloween is your favorite as well.
Well, of course it is. I get to see a lot of people dress up and show off their creative side, and I always have a motto, be peculiar, because to be normal takes a lot more effort.
You could say that again, brother.
Well, it takes a lot more effort.
Nothing more peculiar than this election season. Of course, we like to hit politics on American Roundtable. What's your take on the Hillary versus Donald Trump race?
Well, you got to understand, I kind of am a right-wing candidate there. You know, I like to see them tackle a lot of the dead issues, and I tell you, talking politics always makes me sweat. So please forgive me.
I could tell you're breaking into one right now, and sometimes I break into a cold sweat in the middle of the night just thinking about who's running for president and who's going to be the most powerful leader in the world. It's either going to be Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, and of course, the thought of this gives me some goosebumps, so to speak.
Well,
Makes me a little stiff in all the wrong places.
oh wow, we won't go there.
Well, what do you do when you're not Dr. Paul Bearer? What kind of stuff? You're in Tampa, right? And you're a man of many talents, I hear.
Well, I do a little acting on the side, and I personally own a different business as well, selling appliance parts, and whatever it takes to bring home the bacon.
Absolutely, it's very important to bring home the bacon. I do a few things as well. When I'm not hosting American Roundtable, I host a radio talk show 5 nights a week called Connections, and so it's good to have your hand in a few different things.
Yeah, I've got several hands, and if I ever run out, I go out back in the cemetery and I just dig up a few more.
You know, you can never have enough, I say. But how did we get here? How did we get here with a Trump versus Hillary candidacy? What's going on here in America? What do you think? What's your take?
Well, by golly, I got to tell you, there's a lot of issues that have been talked about. Right now, they're just beating each other to death, and I personally would like to hear some of the topics that they really want to, tackle. Donald Trump wants to build a wall. Well, I've got a solution for that. Instead of building the wall, why don't we do it cost effectively and just turn the whole border into a cemetery? Then at least half the people will be too scared to cross over.
That's creative thinking, Dr. Paul. That's
Thank you.
creative
Thank you very
thinking.
much.
And
I'm here all day.
all right, so we tackled that issue. Now, what about the economy? What fix do you have for that?
Well, I'd like to see jobs come back. I don't like seeing people leave the United States. I personally think that if we can get corporations and not tax them too hard, then you hire a lot of people. It helps support the economy. And by golly, they'll be paying into the system. So I think it would, be a wash.
I'll tell you what, I need a wash. This is maybe I'll vote for you.
Oh.
I think I might.
Wow.
You have some pretty good ideas.
Well, thank you.
What about terrorism? What would you do about that? Actually, let's hold the phone on that. We'll ask you that question right after we come back. This is the American Roundtable. My name's Al Spry. I'm here with Dr. Paul Bearer II from CW44 in Tampa. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the American Roundtable. Dr. Paul Bearer II is my guest. Where did the Dr. Paul Bearer come from? There was someone who did this similar character, right?
Oh, that's right. I got to give homage to Dick Bennick. He passed away back in 1995, and he was one of America's longest-running horror hosts from the 70s until 1995. And when he passed, he left a void in a lot of people's lives. We grew up watching him, and I just mistakenly, truly, I dressed up as him in 2009, and people thought I was him. And they asked me to bring the show back, so I've been working on it tirelessly since.
So this is by popular demand, then.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. People are just dying to see more of me.
And how how do people like it? Are they comparing you favorably to the first Dr. Paul Bearer?
Oh, yes. He was a very punny guy, if you know what I mean. But I'm trying to put a little bit of myself into the new cloned character, and it's working out.
Oh, very good, very good. So let's
I'm
go
not
back.
letting anybody down.
And of course, people are just dying to get in to see you, of course, in your business.
Well, yeah, business is successful. Right now we're running a 2-cent sale.
And what's that?
Well, for another penny, you can take another body with you.
I heard you're having a half-off sale. You're only 3 feet deep.
Well, there's ways to budget a good old-fashioned burial.
So let's go ahead and take a look at another issue, because I'm ready to draft you for president. What about terrorism? Tell me about this.
I tell you what, all they got to do is see me, and they'll get scared. They'll run away.
All right, so we hit economy, we hit terrorism, we hit immigration. Let's see. What else? What about what do you think? What do you think about Donald Trump? Let's go with each candidate right now.
Well, honestly, I got to tell you, poor Donald, he's been hit hard with the media about things he said in the past. But, if you look closely enough, you'll find other things on other people. Again, they're beating each other up. But Donald, I think, has a strong backbone, and a lot of people are afraid of him. And people are afraid of change. But, when I was growing up and my dad said, don't do that, and I did it, I was afraid of him. And guess what? I turned my butt around.
I will say this. I agree with you. Everyone that's talking about Donald Trump and these comments that he made about women, does anyone remember something called the impeachment hearings for Bill Clinton, who's also going to be in the White House when Hillary gets in? I don't know if people are remembering this or not, but Bill Clinton is not exactly his hands are not exactly super clean in this area.
Well, no. And, you can dig up a lot on people if you really dig deep enough. I should know.
You do. You're an expert. So what about Hillary? What do you think? What do you think about this? Obviously, she has the momentum. She is looking like she has the lead right now in the race. What do you think about her?
Well, she's a strong woman. She's been in politics an awfully long time. I just can't get over the fact that she'll wear a $12,000 jacket and discuss the unequalism in the economy. Excuse me.
I always thought that was funny. Like Al Gore flying in his jet using all this fuel, talking about global warming and stuff.
Yes, I tend to remember that.
The hypocrisy is kind of interesting. Donald Trump, though, is also being a bit hypocritical when he says, "Hey, I'm going to bring all these jobs to America," but he creates his clothing line in third world countries and pays them very little. So it's just there's a lot of hypocrisy to go around.
Sure is.
But I guess the question you ask is, are you better off than you were 8 years ago? That's the question people should ask. If you are, then you would stick with the Hillary candidacy, because that's who's been in office for the last 8 years. And if you're not, then you would go with the Donald Trump candidacy. And if you're tired of both, then you would go with the Dr. Paul Bearer candidacy. I think that's kind of the way we should structure this.
Well,
but
I'll tell you what, I'm going to wait till the dead last second before I vote.
what are some of your plans in the future? What do you got? What are you thinking up? And you do any touring, or do you do live events, or
we do live events in Ybor City this October the 29th. They're going to have a new parade, and I will be the Grand Marshal. And
what's the new parade?
It's called the March of the Pumpkin King, and anybody can join. There's a ticket you can purchase, and if you use the promo code DOCTOR, you can get $5 off, and you can be part of the parade.
So this replaces the old Guavaween parade that
absolutely,
died
absolutely,
out.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's good to know. And of course, you'll make appearances. Do you ever do like birthday parties, things like that, little openings for businesses, things like that?
Oh, absolutely. All you got to do is go on the website, Dr. Paul Bearer 2, and you can fill out the form, and I'll be lurking for you.
Dr. Paul Bearer, right here on American Roundtable. Some final thoughts after this. Welcome back to American Roundtable. My guest today is Dr. Paul Bearer II. You can find out more about him at drpaulbearer2.com. Let's turn to sports a little bit. What's going on with all these players sitting down during the national anthem here? Distracting from the game, I think. And I think there are better ways to protest certain things, I would imagine, than just doing this. It's almost kind of a gimmick. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Paul?
Well, I'd like to tackle this one, if you may.
Please
You know,
do.
the first time I saw Mr. Kaepernick kneel down, I thought he was sick, and I wanted to go see if he was dying. But no, he stood up, and then you add the two together, and it's kind of like, why, in my opinion, would you disgrace the national anthem? I understand that there's a lot of police brutality, and I understand their right to be able to do it, but I just, we fought to be free, and the song was written during a battle. And by the dawn's early light, they were still there. I think it's something that should be respected. That's just where I'm going to go.
Well, I agree with you. I think that there are better ways to protest. If you really want to make change, you take massive numbers of people and you protest and you march and you march and you march. That's the way to get change in America, because there is strength in numbers. A couple of jokesters sitting down during the national anthem, even if it is on TV, it's just going to anger people. It's just going to make people want to go against whatever you're saying. It's the same thing with the media attacking Donald Trump. The more they attack Donald Trump, the more people get steadfast in their wanting to vote for him. And the more it makes undecided people like myself want to vote for him, because, I don't like to be manipulated. And I think there's a way too much media manipulation going on. So we try to tell you the straight dope here is what we do. And of course, we bring on interesting guests like Dr. Paul. So this is your high season, really.
Well,
this
sure
is it, man.
Hey, you know what? I have a question for you.
Sure.
What do you get when you cross Bambi with a ghost?
What do you get when you cross Bambi with a ghost?
Bamboo. Say, have you been to any local hauntings lately?
I haven't been.
Well, you better be sure you don't get arrested without having your haunting license.
Oh, you got to get that. In Florida, it's just gone up too. But want to thank you again, Dr. Paul
My pleasure.
Bearer II, carrying on a great tradition started by your predecessor and bringing fun, because in this country we're way too serious and we need to lighten the hell up. And so thank you again for coming into American Roundtable.
Well,
I really appreciate it.
It's been my
there,
displeasure.
Absolutely.
I can assure you of that.
I'm Al Spry. We'll be right back with more and Bill Strickler on American Roundtable right after this. This is the American Roundtable right here on Tough TV. So happy to be here on the Tough TV network nationwide, Bill.
I'm telling you, and who do we have with us today?
Well, we had Dr. Paul Bearer II.
Exactly.
Let's talk about this dead folks voting Democrat. Giuliani, former mayor of New York City, said dead men may not wear plaid, but they do vote for Hillary Clinton, at least according to Rudy. Donald Trump is convicted. She's actually convinced the presidential election is rigged. The former New York City mayor, one of his top surrogates, thinks he knows who's coming out of the woodwork to help defeat the GOP nominee. And here's the quote: "I'm sorry, dead people generally vote for Democrats." What are your thoughts on this? Oh, hello, Dr. Paul. What are your thoughts on this,
Well,
actually?
I'm working hard digging up votes. I gotta go.
Dr. Paul Bearer, he is digging up dead Democrat votes, it seems like. And this is, of course, Giuliani telling Jake Tapper Sunday morning on CNN's State of the Union. Giuliani explained that Democrats control polling sites in major inner cities and that illegal voters are transported from polling sites to polling sites. And, of course, what they do is they leave dead people on the rolls, according to Giuliani. This is the quote. And then they pay people to vote as those dead people 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Of course, this going back to the Chicago days when the election in 1960 this was brought up, where dead people were voting for Jack Kennedy and even before that. So this is nothing really new. Your thoughts?
Nothing new. I mean, you had Mayor Daley, who was a real Democrat, spent years being mayor of Chicago. So it's good to see that we're aware of where all the votes are coming from.
However, that's not going to stop the tampering. If you think that your vote is not being tampered with, maybe you should do a little more research. That's what we recommend right here on American Roundtable. And I'm not slanting for either party. I think both parties engage in shenanigans. And you know what? We got the guy right here who's digging up the votes right now, Dr. Paul Bearer, who is our special guest on today's American Roundtable show. It won't be the last time you see Dr. Paul, but we hope you all have a great Halloween season. My wife has made the whole house look like Halloween, and she really loves the holiday.
Yeah, and I think Halloween is a pagan ritual, isn't it, Al?
Well, it all
We're getting
comes
back
from,
to our pagan roots.
It all comes from that, but it's the only time of the year where you can actually burlesque death. Any other time you're not supposed to talk about, it's supposed to be verboten, but one time of the year you can get out and go, hey, death, it's going to happen to everybody, let's have some fun with it. Well, that's what we did on today's show. We'll see you next week. I'm Al Spry.
And I'm Bill Strickler.
We'll see you on American Roundtable on Tough TV. Have a great week.